by yours and truly, the Hound.
What's up, everybody? It's the Crypto Hound here. Today we got a special guest, D. Murphy, friend from school back in the day, both getting into stocks, both having our money, try to work for... So Nikki and I were in a competition that both got us into stocks. And yeah, my grandpa started this competition with all of our cousins on my mom's side, his dad's side, and all of our 10 cousins were in this competitive investing group called the CIG group, and we had a year to make the most gains out of our investments, and it was also the same year that COVID hit.
Wow, dude, that's so interesting.
So
How did it all work out?
we learned so much. The crash in March to like May, and then it started to bounce back up.
What a year to do that.
Right?
It was a fun year.
I
We
bet.
made it
I mean,
fun.
That's pretty sick.
Hey, it's a Crypto Hound here. So today we're going to talk about why you want to invest. Just the basics of just starting investing and how your money could be working for you while you're out there slaving over each hard-earned dollar. So there's a couple major investments that you can make that we're going to go over today that may be booming in the near future. Again, this is not financial advice, but just a way to educate you on where the market is now and how you can put some of your savings that you don't need for spending in a place that can accrue more interest than your normal average savings account. Today we got D. Murphy in here. Let's get it, Dylan.
Yeah, so basically the best way to do that if you're not sure on what to do with it and you have a little extra would definitely be a CD within a bank. There's a definite return on it, although that's not fantastic. So that's definitely a safe option.
Yep, you're 1.5% to 3%, and that's what the common American is used to and familiar with. Is I'm going to put my money in the savings account, and then I'm going to earn pennies every year, and that's may accrue. But it's all about compound interest, and compound interest is having your money that you're saving every day or every month keep on compiling and keep on adding up. But if that money is depreciating that you're trying to add up, then it's not going to be a big gain at the end of the day when you're trying to retire, or when you're trying to use this money or finally sell it for a vacation. Whatever your means or purposes to investing, we're just trying to tell you some safe avenues to go down. So let's get into it. Some of the definitions to know. Dylan, you want to break it down for us?
Yeah, so when we get into anything with you have to get out of the ground, refine, and then sell to a mainstream market, you have the upstream, midstream, and downstream aspects of it. So just keep that in mind as we go over.
So the upstream, Dylan was telling me, he was breaking down these three definitions for me. They're basically the three different, like you could break down the umbrella of all the total economy into three different stocks, and that would be upstream, midstream, and downstream. So upstream is going to be finding and locating your resources and putting it together. Midstream is holding on to it and being like the storage place for that product. And then downstream is going to be your sales and actual revenue makers. But there's a benefit to having stock in each one of these avenues, and at different times it may vary.
And the more hands it has to go through to get upstream to downstream, I mean, I know that Tesla on its own has its hands in all three, as they should, because it not only allows them to kind of lower the cost of their end products, but it's good for the country if we're heading in that direction of all EV cars.
Yeah, that you can actually find and locate some of the lithium yourself. You're not so dependent. Like you said, 70% of the total lithium is imported from China. That's outstanding.
Exactly, yeah.
4% is in, so we're dependent on them. So at any day they could change the price. Of course, the world is competitive in that sense too, where we can go somewhere else to find it. But
For sure, like a company like Albermay, like I'm not sure of their stock name right now, but they're the largest. They're one of the largest miners in the world, and they're down in Chile, I believe,
dang.
mining right now. So there definitely is a competitive market out there for it.
But doing something is better than sitting on the sideline. So that's why we push everyone to start investing and start learning before it's too late and before you put your money in someone else's hands, and then at the end of the day you're not in control of it.
And adding to that, it's definitely important to know what you're doing with your money, which is why I highly recommend following what you want to do, or what you want to invest in for like a couple of months, see where it goes, see if it's valuable to you. You obviously want to look for something in the long term, 5 to 10 years, I guess is a good range,
Very good point.
because you're not going to make money overnight. This isn't a gambling game. This is a forecasting on what a company's going to do in its future.
Yep.
So, and this is why your hard-earned money should go into something that's definitely in the long-term range.
Exactly. Be patient and just keep dollar cost averaging is another definition that is huge in investing, especially by yourself, that you're averaging in your price. So if you buy at the top and then you don't feel like it was a mistake. You know what I mean? You don't want to invest all your money at once because it could end up being a mistake. But if you average
Exactly.
in little over time, then you're having an average cost of the stock. That one of the best investments anyone could have made, and the guy probably had no idea he was making this investment or what he was purchasing wasn't going to turn out to what it is today, but it is New York City as we know it, or Manhattan.
Best place on earth, but in the beginning there was barter. So I'm not sure on how to pronounce Peter's last name, but he did a swap, if you will, in 1626 for $24 in the in beads and trinkets for the island of Manhattan. And then in 1998, its current land value is 23.4 billion. So it takes a while for stuff to grow, but it definitely will. And getting into it, that's a great starting point because, like, are we in a recession or not?
True.
Because if we are, I mean, our next slide it will break down well, because gold and silver. But in times of recession, you have seen returns for gold. I mean, for example, the gas crisis from 1971 to 79. You saw good returns in gold, and then the housing crisis from '06 to 11 was good returns in gold. And if we're seeing those now, I guess the question would be, does that poise us to lead to believe we're in a recession?
So what you're saying is back then when these crises hit, gold went down as well with the recession, or was able to stay afloat?
The returns for gold during the crisis and the recession, were decent. So if we're seeing that today, does that mean, you know, we're in one of those time situations?
Very true. And it looks like in the history in the charts here, anytime you have this big falling off the table type move, it ends up returning. Like that's a 60% correction there. It ends up returning that's a 250% move right there over a period of 2 years. 241% gains. And it kept going up from that. So like what pattern are we making now on the macro scale? We're still going up, but look how far we've come down. and now we're trying to break out of that. There's a lot of upside potential here. And
Yeah.
if that flips, if the dollar depreciates, maybe that's when we start to see more of a surge in gold. So looking at
Exactly.
to invest, like whether now or next week, investing now with this fear that the dollar might come back down may put gold in a better spot later on. So the dollar is no longer backed by gold and silver, but gold and silver is still valuable because it still has a storage of value to it, where holding on to physical gold and silver, of course you could barter for it, you could trade it in. It's physical, you have the chance of losing it, of course, but that's the only value in gold and silver now, is that you have value in your hands that you can touch, you can hold. It's not a cryptocurrency, it's something you could hold on to.
Oh, what's that show in Alaska?
Yeah. Oh, it's an incredible show. And they got
Yeah.
huge rigs. They're pumping
Yeah.
so much gas into the ozone just to get a little bit
So
more
those
gold.
guys, think of those guys and like the value of gold to them, and like they dive for it as well. So there's definitely a market for it. It does create jobs in the whole mining, refining, selling aspect of it. If you go into jewelry is a
Absolutely.
huge market.
So I guess you could say investing in gold and silver has more potential than your dollar, than having it in your savings account, where your savings account, you know what you're getting. Gold and silver are more, they're less volatile. They're not going to like deplete you of all your funds by investing in it, but you may actually start to see some positive gains more frequently or sooner than you would have in your dollar sit in your bank account.
Exactly. Exactly. If you buy a little piece of gold today, probably be worth more in 10, 20 years than
just,
what you bought
just
it
like
at.
that property in Manhattan. I love how we started. That was a great way of starting it. So keep thinking about age and time and how it appreciates things. Think about how your parents always said, "Oh, it used to be cheaper. It used to be 25 cents a beer back then. Oh, my house, or I got paid this, and everything was more affordable." It wasn't more
Exactly.
affordable per se.
That's when banks were able to work with you and not give you rates of, what'd we say, 3% at the max?
Max. Like, you're telling me you walk in there with like all your hard-earned money. God bless some people working nursing and lawyers and like really high-end jobs. You walk in there with all your money. Hey, how can you set up a savings fund for me so I can like keep accruing money in my savings? And you hear 3% for all that money that
Yeah.
you're giving to the bank.
It's
And
hard. It goes back to our parents saying, because if you gave the bank like $100 in the 80s, they would give you $10 back on it.
ooh, that
$5 to $10 back on it, which is
Exactly.
something that you would go to the bank and trust them with your money.
So a little gold and silver long-term forecast. You can see the two charts on the bottom, silver on the left, gold on the right, just showing these bullish triangles or pendants that they call it. And we've broken below, which usually when the stock gets coiled up like this, and if it tests the upside of this triangle, the northern part, if you will, you're looking for a nice major like swing to the upside. But recently, just back in looks like April, we kind of broke down out of this long-term pendant and showing more of a bearish sentiment. Now we'll see where we hold support.
If you want to set up your, I guess, your life savings, and this is just my opinion of it, you would start off with the long-term stocks, longest you can, which would be something like gold and silver or the S&P or the NASDAQ.
True.
You would want to start off with things like that. Then from there, you can, you would want to start off with the bank. You would want to start off with 3,000 in your checking, 3,000 in your savings, and then work up from there.
Yep, money for an emergency. You always have to have money on hand for
Exactly.
emergency fund, rainy day fund,
Nothing
vacation.
more important than that.
Yeah, you got to live your life too. We're talking about the money we invest here in the dog walk in this community is the money that we work hard on, that we're not going to use today, tomorrow, next week, next year, that we're going to put it aside for the future generation or later on in life when we need it. And you never know what can happen. You have your 401k too that saves up there for you, but Why not have some of this money that you're working so hard on, and starting from the bottom? You can't just buy real estate. Like, you can't just
Yeah,
jump
I mean,
into
that's
real
a very
estate.
valuable thing. I mean, growing up, like, how do you think you would make money? You would get some property, and then make money off it. I mean,
Exactly. If it was that
that's just
easy.
what we're doing. Yeah, right. If it was that easy, but I mean, real estate's definitely something you would think about before anything really. I mean, because getting money back from land you got would be sensible.
Yep. That's money you're getting back, and you also have the value of the property increasing, just like Manhattan over so many times, slowly increasing. So your property that someone else is paying for to live there is also growing in value for that day that you want to sell. But just jumping right into investing in property isn't easy, but this may be a stepping stone to get you the capital that you need to put down that first down payment on a multifamily, or to get you started and not feel like every hard-earned dollar that you've worked for is going into this house and there's a lot more on the line to risk. Like, no, you earn this money through investing, so you can continue your investing efforts and put it into real estate. But we'll talk more about real estate another day. Let's finish about these hot stocks that we're looking at while we're in this fear of recession. A lot of people say the bottom's in, but the Dow Jones. So like the three major charts are Dow Jones, S&P 500, and would you say gold and silver after that?
No, let me look that up real quick for you, bud.
Okay.
Um, so that's the Nasdaq.
And the Nasdaq. That's right.
Yep, and then the Russell 2000 index for futures, but that's a whole nother story.
And it's just a group of different companies that they kind of came up with in this ETF. It's like a folder of different stocks, but it's averaged in on how the whole entire folder of stocks are doing. So the chances of it going down a lot is slim, because there's always something in there pushing it up, overproducing another stock.
Yeah, I mean, I love ETFs. ETFs are great. You can get a whole diversification of the market within one ETF. Um, there's a really good, and this isn't something that I'm serious about. It's just something I've been watching for a while, but it's a specific ETF. I can find it for you guys in just a sec, but it allows you to get into the lithium market with just basically companies from China, all over the world, and it breaks it down for you by how much basically you're diversifying what you put into it with all these different companies.
Yeah. So instead of going like, oh, I don't know which one to go into, or what if
Right?
what if I want a bunch of EV cars? It's kind of cool to see these different ETFs roll out at different times too. And there's like ETFs keep on adapting and changing too.
Oh, for sure.
So it's definitely a good place
Ford,
to start.
GM, always coming out with new models.
And then you have the big hedge funds too. There's so much to talk about in stocks, man. And we'll have plenty of videos to cover the giant hedge funds like Vanguard and JP Morgan and all these money handlers that have like trillions of dollars to spend in assets and property, commercial businesses, and their own investments. So a tip that a lot of people say is chase the money or follow the money, see what the wealthy are doing, because they have their ears closer to the hedge fund people than we do, than someone that's not affiliated, that's not working alongside them. So it's good. You got to be skeptical of all these politicians saying to invest in X, Y, and Z, because it could just be for their narrative that they're supporting these stocks, but it doesn't mean it's going to do well. It's just saying that they're backing the idea of it. And a lot of this last year was like the renewable energy and climate change and cannabis stocks too, with everything being legalized and climate change being really pressed and trying to get a hold of, but the stocks didn't skyrocket, or they didn't move the way these politicians made it seem like they were going to. So just be cautious there. And let's talk about some oil stocks. So Dylan has a little bit more history. He's been researching oil stocks a little bit more intensely, just to talk about some bigger companies that have a lot of upside on the horizon, that are making a lot of deals. Me and him just yesterday went through all these news articles and saw the billions of dollars that they were getting contracted to start oil rigging, because now with Russia cutting off oil to the rest of the world, someone else needs to step up and be the supplier.
You have Marathon Oil, MRO. They're interesting. They're around $20 a share right now, and they operates the largest refining system in the USA. And they're definitely a big company, and as oil, as I guess we're in a crisis right now of gas prices at $4, which so that's just the you could say it's the end all result of what we're doing, or not what we're doing, but what Marathon Oil is looking at. So, and then there's also PXD. They're an interesting one. They're exploration, developing, and they produce on the up and midstream, and they have over 1 million acres of land in West Texas.
Wow. Holy cow.
So, search firm. Yeah.
That's an asset in itself, just all
Right.
that land in Texas.
And then we can go into majorly the upstream, so that's rig, and they have a full fleet, and they do business with Chevron, Shell, and they all have contracts with rig.
Dang. Alright, beautiful. We can pull up, let's pull up some of these charts here. I really started to look at this as like discounts and shopping, which is probably not great, but telling you, when it's coming from, can we find the top? When it's coming from $160 a share, all the way down to, so like here is big support that it broke. This is support that it made there. There was no previous support there, but it was stuck there for years, bouncing in this range. Wild. But this is where it started. So we're below where it started, which is crazy to think of. Now, are we forming a similar pattern here before it shoots up too and makes this crazy run?
Yeah. So oil just will always be there. Super interesting. Just because there's the whole process to it. I mean, you can go whatever market you want to get into. You say you own a gas station, you got to know about how you're going to get your oil and where it's coming from, and how's that going to turn into gas, and how's all this going to work. Yeah, it really hits you hard.
It really does, man. For all those people driving trucks
I filled
too.
up my tank this morning, and that's all I can think about it. Hey.
And then you're just gonna drive like Miss Daisy, just trying to hold all the gas.
Right? He's driving like.
I'm on eco mode. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh boy, feel bad for all the truckers out there. Anyone with diesel fuel too.
The white gold.
Bum 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 will be the future of precious metals. We were talking about how much lithium goes into making a car battery for a Tesla, and what percentage of the cost of the total car is just from the lithium. And it's really, you're paying for the lithium battery.
Basically, it's 8 kilograms of lithium to make one single EV car battery. And if your car has like a chip in it from like 2015 onward, then you get like another $5,000 or something just for that chip is what they're looking for. So if you have the EV battery, hopefully you'll be able to transport that from car to car. Exactly. I mean, the demand of it is just so high. Car companies like GM and Ford, or not GM. Uh, yes, possibly GM. But
Yeah.
they're running out of lithium, and they're
Huh.
having to stop their whole production line just because they don't have the batteries to make the cars.
Okay.
And it's not just the United States looking to do EV cars; it's the whole world too. But
Yeah.
I like focusing on America and
Yeah.
their progression with it.
And that's a good point too. Like when you're investing in stocks, you want to invest in things that you see in your everyday life that you can kind of correlate to, that you hear the news from naturally. So you're not chasing it down. You're not trying to. It's not difficult investing in something that you're seeing the success of. You're seeing it grow and develop in front of your eyes. Makes you want to hold it longer. 900% gains in less than 3 years. A stock that was $2 now sitting at $28. Holy shnikes. Just go over this one line. Once lithium is mined, it needs to be processed, and only a handful of companies can produce the chemical end product. So, is there major
So
processing?
this goes back. So I guess something that we can lead into next episode with would be like globally, where does it come from? What countries are looking into the whole EV industry? For example, I know India is, and specifically Tata Motors or TTM is. They have a wide range, or their hands are fully developed into the EV battery, and not only for cars but for phones as well.
Okay. Lithium in phones?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What?
I've seen an
What?
article or two about it.
That's so cool. And of course, if you're the one mining it, you know what it's used for. You can capitalize
Yep.
on
I mean,
getting it to anyone who needs it
right?
for production.
So yeah, there's that. U.S. Tesla is obviously wicked cool. Then we can get into more next episode, I guess.
Nice, nice. Sounds good. And that means you're coming back, which I love too. It's probably the
Oh yeah,
best
just
part
invite
about this
myself
video.
back.
Love it.
I
Love
need
it.
something to talk. I need something to talk to
Good,
about
good. Dude, I'll have you back here anytime, man. This has been so much fun, just ping-ponging ideas back and forth. And now we're going to get into what every streamer does, and is breaking down your common stocks, if you will, and then getting into some of the more riskier ones, and seeing which ones maybe have better buy-ins than others, and kind of painting the picture of the investing world right now. So if you're new to investing, that you're not coming in to this investing not knowing anything. We're trying to shed some light on where the prices may go, good buying opportunities, and the biggest thing that we can say is just start. Just start small, and that's how you're gonna eventually grow your portfolio.
I look at that one as more of the long term, but
Definitely.
it when that goes down, everything else goes down. When that goes up, everything else goes up. That's how I look at it.
True. I know my sibling, yo, the US dollar is cruising. Holy cow. APVV
To the moon.
or VB?
It's ABBB.
ABBB. India Ltd?
Honestly, I forgot.
ABBV?
It's actually cool because I remember at the time, like when I was heavy doing it, I was doing my own stocks, like I was researching in my own.
Yeah.
But like when I first started off, I actually had my other grandpa help me out because he's huge into that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, how'd you
So, I
find this
think
one? This one's a gem.
Yeah, that was the one that my grandpa gave me. So
Is it
Stream.
ABBV? Am I looking at the right one?
yeah, you're looking at it.
Yo,
It's going up.
where was 2020?
It's currently at one. What's up?
Yeah, 144, 45.
Yeah, I know. It's going well. W for the past day. I mean,
But it's just making
Damn, we have
another
5
bullish
viewers.
triangle, dude. If it breaks out of this triangle, it's going up to the 200 range. And what the heck does this company do?
Yeah, that's a great question.
We need to know more now.
Nice.
You never know.
Hey, man,
Only
you
the
never know.
beginning. Night, Dill. Thanks for
only
sharing
going
your
up from
thoughts
here.
with us. That's it, baby. Gotta
Hey,
start
thanks for
somewhere.
having me, dude.
No problem.
Much appreciated.
It's only gonna get better.
It's been fun.
We just gotta get more people
Yeah,
in it
it's
too,
meant to be.
man. We got a whole crew just hanging out and talking about
Yeah.
this stuff. That's it.
Yeah, I think the whole goal is like whenever you really have some free time to just like branch out and just look at people that are just live streaming, and specifically like some stock people, because obviously the crypto, you were saying there's a lot of people that don't speak English,
Mm-hmm.
so just look at whoever, just look around, pop in, say what's up. I mean, there's always going to be people that are going to look into your streams if you're in their streams.
True.
So
True.
that's what I recommend. I mean, I did that, and then just obviously, it's funny because just playing random video games, you can also get your following up too. Like I think my thing was like Twitch, like on COD when I used to play, it was like Twitch Nick Koala 6218.
And just keep on learning from everyone who's talking about it. Watch all videos. Watch this video. Watch another YouTuber's video. The more you listen to stock analysis and hear it all is how you're going to make the best judgment call at the end of the day.
Tough.
Nick, you're the guy who's supposed to be helping me with this. Don't tough me.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm having problems with this math problem over here.
To be in school again. Nice.
Yeah, what are you studying?
That sounds nice. I'm undecided. Probably gonna major in business. I don't really know though. I have to do
Oh.
research.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Tough, like, there's so much
Sure.
to talk about, Dill, that it's easy to get, like, quality video out of just talking about anything. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm afraid I have not gonna have a lot to say. That's like my biggest
Nah,
thing.
you're fine. Just shoot, man. Just talk. Like, literally just what we did Monday. Like, let's go over it. And that's what we should start and just break it down. Like, we're talking to people who've never invested before and just trying to open their eyes on the possibilities. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
2006 Blue Saturn
Ooh.
Ion.
We can make something out of that.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it'd be a waste of money. It really depends. People hate it, but I love it.
Yo,
It's
this
awesome.
car's sleek.
Yeah, dude, I want to
It's-
hold on to
it's-
my car for as long as possible.
She
Yeah.
pretty. And this is the same blue?
Oh,
Wait, let me
It's like the only color
Yeah,
this
the same
car
blue.
comes in, dude.
chill.
I'm just saying, like, I see some grays and some blacks, but most of them are blue. So,
Yeah.
the next question is, we should put this in the stream. We're about to spray paint this whole freaking thing. Let's go! Get in there. Let's go! It's just a moment. Just a moment.
You probably agree with that though, right?
What's that?
So now that your presentation's good, now I feel like the people are gonna start flowing in.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, so what I was saying, who'd you say that was from?
Whoop.
You said like you do something that was
So I can't, like, maybe my volume, like, I think the game volume is really high. Oh, let's go. Get in there. Let's go! Let's go!
I guess it's definitely the good goal, by the way. It's probably the game audio.
But when I turn up, like, the normal volume, or the game audio, for, like, it controls both, like, your volume, and it's just, like, the master volume.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Love you.
That was a
We're back.
beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Alrighty.
Probably should have started on the first slide.
Yeah, right. No worries.